So I chose to do my project on the impacts of stress on a high school student. Basically, my thesis was that the stress levels of high school students are way too high for their age. So my main topic or point was stress, and then my 3 subtopics were sleep habits, procrastination, and extracurriculars. Throughout the project, I used my own scale as a comparison for all 3 subtopics. So procrastination, sleep habits, and extracurriculars all relate back to my own scale of stress, which is the same one that I asked you guys just a few seconds ago. So 0 to 3 would be weak on the scale, 3 to 6 being moderate, 6 to 9 being strong, and 10 being unbearable. Well, 10 or over. And here's just a little YouTube video on how to manage stress, and we're just going to watch about a minute of it.
Watch this. One little piece of paper can have a remarkable effect. Stress is stressful. But if you understand a bit about what it is, you'll be better able to deal with it. First though, take a few deep breaths. In fact, do that anytime you feel stressed. It helps. Stress is a survival mechanism. When danger appears, it can get you out of trouble quickly. Your body crashes up the gears and throws all its resources into getting you moving. Your heart pumps furiously to increase blood pressure, glucose is sent to the muscles as a fuel injection, and you become totally focused on what psychologists call fight or flight.
Okay.
Thing is, this emergency...
Alright. Okay, so this is my first hypothesis, just broken down into interesting facts. So as predicted, there was a pretty strong correlation between sleeping habits and stress levels. So if you're more stressed, you're feeling like you don't have as much time to complete tasks, you're probably not sleeping as much. And then the ADAA's website, so the Anxiety and Depression Association of America, they included some percentages that I kind of based some of my data off of. I found it interesting that about half of the people wake up feeling unrefreshed or not rested, even after, say, a 6 to 8 hour sleep. So that's 61% of women and 45% of men. So it's a pretty high percentage. Alright, and then based off of my data points given, I was able to extrapolate. So most likely the people who are hitting the stress level, say above the 10 or more, so the unbearable level, they're getting about, well, less than 3 hours of sleep when they're feeling really stressed. And then we're just going to watch a quick YouTube video about the circadian clock.
The way our bodies work throughout the day. It governs brain activity and hormone production. And it's also responsible for making us alert during the day and sleepy at night. The circadian clock is located in the hypothalamus section of the brain. It's only about the size of a pinhead, but the tiny bundle of neurons controls almost 1/3 of your life, your sleep. The circadian clock controls the release of melatonin. This is a hormone that makes us drowsy. Melatonin levels are highest at night and lowest during the daylight hours. That's why some sleep experts call it the hormone of darkness. The amount of sleep you get...
So I thought that was pretty cool because one little part in your brain controls like 1/3 of your life. Here's some of the interesting facts for my second hypothesis. Basically I found it pretty interesting that this one was completely created by students from the University of Wisconsin. So they created it, and then anyone who was to take part in this received a full credit. And then otherwise, the data was pretty self-explanatory. Like there was a pretty strong correlation between procrastination levels and stress levels. And the bell curve that I have here is just of the people who were surveyed. So it was about 95% Caucasian people, and that's just a bell curve of their ages. This was just from the website again. Just 3 ways to stop procrastinating. 1, you should recognize that you're procrastinating, because the only way to, get over a problem is to admit that you have a problem. 2 would be to work out why you're procrastinating, and the 3rd one would be to adopt anti-procrastinating strategies. And then for my last hypothesis, there were a few outliers that outliers that changed the data quite a bit. So I did make a box and whisker plot just to show the differences in the data between the interquartile range. Basically, they said that extracurricular activities were really good. Like if you were getting, say on average, say maybe 5 to 7 hours, that's good. But anything above 13 or more are when you start to see problems. And then this is just why to join on extracurriculars. 1, it teaches time management and prioritizing. 2, it diversifies interests. 3, you learn how to make long-term commitments. 4, learn to make a contribution. It also helps to raise self-esteem, build on relationship skills, and it looks great on resumes or applications. Can we stop it there? 'Cause I don't know. Okay, so just to conclude my presentation, basically my hypothesis was proven. The higher stress levels you have are affected by sleep habits, and they're affected by procrastination levels. But the only one that didn't necessarily agree with my original thought was my third hypothesis, being that the high stress levels are due to extracurricular involvement, which technically only happens to a certain extent, because in order for that to sort of be proven, it's that you have to have, say, more than 13 hours per week involved in extracurricular activities, because that kind of takes away from your study time. Thank you for listening.